I'm on. They just had to back out and back in again.
Hello and welcome back to the Breakout Racing League here in Tier 1. The fastest guys here at the Breakout Racing League, or also known as BRL, will be tackling on the famous Monza circuit here in Italy. I'm a very familiar voice. I'm your host, Sector22, for today's Tier 1. And unfortunately, it is not going to be Mitchie and Hey Katra for the normal Tier 1 commentators, but it will be me and my also co-com for Tier 3, Quick Tongue. There's two DRS straights. The first one going into Sector 3 after those two Lesmos, and the last one is on the main straight. Quick Tongue, if you saw what happened to Tier 2, what are your thoughts about Tier 2, and what do you think about what you're going to see here in Tier 1?
Well, it's going to be with the quality drivers we have and how tight everybody is. It's going to be an ERS and DRS fight from start to finish, as long as the carnage stays to a minimum.
Yes, if you were able to watch the Tier 2 stream that happened around an hour ago, we had a very climactic finish. We're going into Turn 1. The top four actually had to go off track, and on track the winner was Roscoe. But when it came to time penalties, I believe the winner was Sweller. I am not entirely sure. Maybe Judge Gerbil, but it was 1-2 nonetheless. But this is a Tier 2. This is Tier 1. But for weather, like we saw last night, and not today so far, weather could play a factor. We saw Tier 4 last night, same rack time. 24 hours ago, it was actually a full Inter Grand Prix. Did not change any weather. And Johan Laura and the Haas was able to get the victory there. But the question is for Tier 1, if it does rain, will it play a factor?
It always plays a factor in Italy.
Yes, you are correct, but Quick Tongue, you told me before the stream that you had the constructors and all that brung up. Can you bring up the Driver Championship for us?
Sure. In Tier 1, we have a Bailey at the top. He's got 183 points. Behind him is Minico at 92, so a 90-point lead. And then Hoopalicious is third, 89. By Raptor, fourth at 86, and Axe F1 at 79. Then we have Crispy, Neymar, Ferrari Nut, Chandler, Mumu, Zenev, Boss Cookie, Ryan, Edu, Sirhan, Drunken Shamrock, Lewis, Onside of Court, Deer Hunter, and Feta Cheese. The fight between Minico going down to, I would say, 9th place is all within less than 24 points. So we have a great battle for second position in this tier right now. Just Mr. Bailey seems to have put the pedal to the metal. We'll see how he does tonight.
Yes, and speaking of Bailey, his name for tonight's Grand Prix is QBR 20 Bailey, bringing on the QBR. So same with Raptor and Axe, but Axe will not have that gamer tag for tonight. Is the first driver, the Aston Martin Feta Cheese 33 with a 20.9, Bailey with a 21.1, but Crispy setting the tone for the mediums with a 20.8. But speaking about the Constructors Championship, we have, as expected, Alfa Romeo leading with 255 as Crispy actually hits the curb. It gets a little bit squilly there, but second place we have Red Bull, 124 points to the name, with a 111 point gap, with over a 2 race gap for constructors between Alfa Romeo and Red Bull. As going on, we have Mercedes third with 117 points to their name, 138 behind Red Bull, 27 behind 138 behind Alfa Romeo, and 27 behind Red Bull. Fourth place we have Haas with 113, 142 point gap to Alfa Romeo, but a 4-point gap to Mercedes. Fifth place we have AlphaTauri with 112 points behind Alfa Romeo by 143, and a 1-point gap between themselves and Haas. So Mercedes, Haas, and AlphaTauri having quite the tight battle for third in the constructors. Then we have Alpine, Ferrari, McLaren, Aston Martin, and Williams rounding out the Constructors Championship. But while I was going on about the Constructors Championship, we saw the Williams and Haas of FinFan in the Williams and Deer Hunter in the Haas, both setting 20.1s, but Deer getting the edge by 4/100ths. As we've seen already, the lap times are already ramping up for these soft and medium runners in Turn 1.
Seems to be a good diversification of who's going to run which tire. Right now, it's kind of split evenly right down to the whole group of softs and mediums. So maybe some guys are out just testing on their first qualifying lap, and they'll come in and determine what it is. Of course, we don't know the rain situation. The wetness always changes. So just from looking at all these mediums they got out there, it's probably going to be a dry race.
Yes, speaking about the weather, actually, Axe just told me it is going to be full dry for both sessions. For yes, your observation is actually correct. It is going to be a full dry race as Chandler Sato sets pole position for 19.8. Apologize. But with a Mercedes front row lockout. As Fast AD actually in the Williams driver was setting a 21.0 in the Williams. I'm not sure why it hasn't paid me out the Williams. There you go. Fast AD 21 flat. Deer Hunter, like I said, for 20.1. Fin Fan 20.1 as well. Crispy on the mediums now out on the softs. Have to set to the best tire. But the guys on the best. Everyone that set their lap times on the mediums are finishing 33 in the Aston Martin, Mumu in the AlphaTauri, so with Crispy and Zinab and Bailey. Is now all these drivers are now going on the softs. So it looks like these top guys here are gonna elect going with the softs, going with the main strategy. The opposite strategy, the alternate strategy would be the medium to softs, because the hards will be obsolete, definitely, to say the least, for this Grand Prix.
How many tracks down the track?
May up your game then, because I've had that issue.
All right.
I will send you an invite.
Done deal.
But anyway, Fin Fan and Crispy are on an outlap, same with Mumu, so a lot of these guys on an outlap, at least for right now, as while PSR Luis, Aaron, I haven't seen him much since Spain, I believe. I'll have to go check that for myself while we wait for Quick Tom to return. Luis sets a 19.9, as I actually just saw that the outside of Port in the Alpine. It sets a 20 flat. As I need to get myself a drink here, Dr. Pepper, obviously, because I'm a big Dr. Pepper guy. Y'all should know that already. But Crispy on a flying lap now, going into turn 1. Very clean on the brakes, locks up a little bit. Very good traction, very smooth on the brake and throttle input. Now going to curve a Grande. This is where we saw Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton 2019 have their really great skirmish, but it caused Lewis Hamilton to go off track right here, which is in the second chicane. Brake in between the 150-meter board. Get a good exit through here. Do not hit those curbs, because they will send you flying through the air. Once again, smooth throttle inputs is going in Lesmo 1. No understeer, gets on the curb perfectly. Non-validation, go through Lesmo 2, gets on the curb a little bit. Extends as much as he can without an invalidation, which is great. Keeps the lap going. Let's see what type of sector time he'll do. Preferably a 53.1, as I actually got that correct. 6 tenths up, does not invalidate no Scar. Scar will be a scary corner, especially if you saw in Tier 4 into qualifying. 4 drivers DNF there alone, but kept it clean. Now going into Parabolica for his qualifying lap time is Keyboard Bailey sits fastest lap for 19.7. Now Crispy Parabolica, very clean exit. Let's see what lap time he will do. Comes across the line and does a 19.8 with 2. Like I said, Bailey in the Alfa Romeo, like Coach Chung said at the start of the qualifying, he has been on a roll lately. Over, I believe, almost a 4 race gap to the guy in second place, which is the Haas of Minico. Speaking of Minico, he hasn't even went out of the pits yet to do a lap, so he's probably waiting until the end of qualifying to make a statement to see if he can climb back up here in the championship. Luis, Axe, and Chandler are also now back on an outlaps, because now I am waiting on Quick Tongue to get back, really. I'm stalking my phone to see once he shoots at me out a message to rejoin the party and the game. Chandler is starting his lap now. If you could honestly tell, I was on my phone texting Quick Tongue. But now Chandler is on a lap really now 8 minutes really left with qualifying now to 7:50 mark. Going to turn 1 for Chandler. Very clean first chicane, no lockups anywhere. Clean exit, very smooth on the throttle input. Now going to Curva Grande. Once again from the Mercedes AMG Petronas driver. Acts on an out lap. Is he actually starting his flying lap unless he invalidated it? Yes, he did. Chandler going through sector 1 sets a purple with, I did not see it, but all I know is that it was purple and ahead by a 10th. Now going through Lesbo 1, a little bit of understeer from the Mercedes driver. Now going through Lesbo 2, keeping it clean. He keeps it clean as he actually invalidates, so we will not see an improvement lap time as the McLaren of Luis is on a lap, so is the Ferrari of Zinav. Backs out of it unless he's on an end lap, which yes he is. Hoopalicious, third place Drivers' Championship, has been on a roll lately, but he's going to be on controller for this race due to the fact that he broke his wheel, unfortunately, and went 3/10 up and does a 20.5, which will put on P11 in a Ferrari sandwich between Zinav and Sirhan. As I'm going to go ahead and send Quick Tongue an invite. I've sent him invite back to the party and game as we actually saw that from the Drix McLaren driver hopped over the curb as you see on the bottom of your screen. There you go. Quick Tongue is back in the lobby. It'd be great to get him back in this party though. That way I don't have to carry at least for now. Axe a 10th down on his lap time. I do not think he'll improve, and he's actually invalidated. Chandler is actually going back through. Oh, he's going to finish his lap time actually, and he sets a 19.6, which will be pole position for the Mercedes driver. Lap times are ramping up as Luis actually, while I was gone, sending an invite, went up to P2 for 19.7. Crispy P3 with a 19.8, which just finished his lap time as there we go. Quick Tongue is back in the party.
I'm back, but I do not have any track time. Don't know what's happening.
You don't have any track sound either?
No.
Headset issue maybe?
No.
One thing I can think of is that you can have to bear with it through this Grand Prix.
Oh, that's not a problem.
Yeah, of course if it's not a problem for you, then
You've got
fine,
the Twitch chat up, so if anybody hears me in the actual
there you go.
stream here, and we'll go from there.
Yes, I will actually go ahead and do that. So there you go. In the chat room, if you can hear Quick Tongue say something in the chat now as I'm looking over it. Actually, while I was not looking at chat, Raining of Blood once again coming up with the clutch. 25 get the subs, man. And thank you so much. It is actually truly appreciated. Maverick with 5 get the subs. Thank you as well. Right, but jeez. But chat, if you can hear Quick Tongue, then say something, please.
Yes, I'd like to be heard. Oh, here we go. Sound just came back on. Don't know what I touched, what I hit, but everything's good there. So if I'm in the chat party of the race stream, we're good to go.
That is great news, but actually the Haas of Minico, P2 in the Drivers' Championship. 3 minutes left in qualifying, but P2 in the championship, the Haas driver of Minico, is actually retired in the pit lane. So he's done a media lap with 21-1, retires in the pit lane. Like I keep on saying, is actually Deer Hunter in P5 actually. Did not notice that, is Crispy is invalidated in his lap time. UR20 Bailey has to go off and go through turn 1 and basically hit all those bollards. So I would have to make an assumption that he has backed out of his lap time. Which, yes, he has with the battery going down. He was on a lap time, so he backed out of it. But Deer Hunter getting the slipstream for PSR Luis. So slipstream already playing a factor in the qualifying, which we basically predicted before the stream.
Yeah, they're pretty much have a battle going on for qualifying in the Grande Curva. Now they're going through the Scari. Yeah, Deer Hunter's totally backed out. But Lewis is still going for it. Hard into Parabolica. Takes it right up to the edge of the limit.
Oh, that's rain. Oh, I did not see that until now. There is rain, which will play a factor, especially if DRS gets disabled. Unless it is picked up quickly, I do not think it will be enough to turn off DRS. But nonetheless, these drivers are going to lose traction, and if they do not get the laps time in quickly, I believe we have qualifying over. As Bailey's retired in the pit lane.
Just be happy with the second row.
Yeah, everyone's retiring in the pit lane. I think qualifying's over. Chandler's on an outlap. It looks like he's struggling. Goes off track a little bit. Yeah, I think the rain's picked up so much is that all these drivers are already losing traction. Luis is on a lap time. He actually loses traction through there, almost spins out and crashes, and he retires. Not retires, but he backs out of his lap time. Unless, yeah, he's 6 tenths down. I think qualifying's over.
You actually see rain? I see nothing but sunshine on my screen.
Great game. Going on board with them. Going on board. You see rain?
Yeah, no. Matter of fact, I just came into the pits with unsighted. I don't see any rain there. And like you said, there's only a couple guys left out. Axe in pit. Feathers out. Coming into Parabolica looks kind of clean. I don't see any
He's
weather.
13
There's
seconds
nothing but
down.
shadows and sunshine. Nothing. He backed out. Well, that looks like qualifying's over.
Yep. Hoop is retired, so we're just waiting on Feta, Mumu, and Drix is, yeah, looking at it now. There's puddles on the track now, so there's no question about it. Mumu is retired from the session. Yeah. And Feta's retired now, so now we're just waiting on the McLaren and Drix.
He's backed way out. He's the 122. He's just not even out of the Parabolica yet, so he's done for the session.
Yep, that is qualifying over. We will have a Mercedes and McLaren front row of Chandler Saito taking pole position, and that is Luis P2. And for the starts here in Italy, it is mostly known for the Turn 1 chaos. I believe we will see some more Turn 1 chaos, but the question is, who will be the one coming out on top, and who will be the one having their hands on their forehead due to how, you could say, ambitious actions could be for Turn 1.
So, okay, we're on a black screen. As soon as it goes to the pit screen, you tell me whether you got a wet pit there yet. I'm really curious.
It's supposed to be a dry race.
Well, that means it'll be wet on my screen and dry on yours.
Oh no.
The cheese must have got dumped. He just came back online.
That's it is dry, but there is clouds out for
Definitely overcast, yes.
Yes, alright. I was lied to. By the way, I'd like to point out, Axe lied to me for qualifying for saying it's full dry, so I gotta send him to the stewards for lying to not race officials, but the commentators. I send him to the stewards for that.
With the weirdness that the game has kind of propagated over the last 6 months, the fact that I left and then came back during the middle of qualifying, I couldn't even see how much time was up anyway, so who knows what was feeding me. But anyway, I expect a really good race. This is going to be a lot of fun. A lot of guys qualifying tight up in the top. We're going to see who's going to go with what a commentator from F1 always likes to say. He's from Australia. He said what the guys are going to be wearing for boots.
Yes, but I will have to hurry because I'm going to have to get myself a drink. My throat is like really dry, so I'll be back hopefully before formation lap's over.
All right, he's off to get his Dr. Pepper. Right. Warm up lap. Well, during last night's race, Raining Blood 258 just dropped subscriptions on everybody. He was the gentleman of the evening. There's no doubt about it. We got Feta and Mumu have already hit each other, so they're out.
Hello? Alright, I'm back. Well, I'm glad the formation lap has ended, but it seems like these top guys are trying to get it over. That way I can't commentate the first corner. Trying to be lame. I see Chandler, Luis, and Bailey going super quick, but I'm assuming you had this covered, but the Aston Martin, the Feta Cheese, and the AlphaTauri Mumu have disqualified themselves from the formation lap, which will mean they're going to have cold tires. They're starting this Grand Prix.
Why don't you bring up the tire information? Oh, I will do that. I gotta reset all my details.
Yes.
Alright. 13th back,
go.
only one soft. Hoopalicious is going with softs.
Yep, is now the pole sitter Chandler. Feels nice for your throat. Have a refreshing drink of Dr. Pepper going down your throat. But pole sitter Chandler's like in the Mercedes, lining up on the grid now. Now here comes Luis and Bailey, and now we just wait on the Haas of Mexico to line up on the grid to start this Grand Prix. Now we're just waiting on them.
I'll put my eyes
There
on
we go.
Mexico in the back of the pack, and you watch the front. See how this all goes down.
Yep. So now we go to there you go. 5 red lights. And it is lights out, and away we go for the Monza Grand Prix in Tier 1. Chandler gets a tentative start. Luis gets a bad wheel spin. So we're going to go 3 abreast in the Turn 1 for P2. Chandler is clearly ahead of these guys going to Turn 1. Calm start for the guys in front, but they're still going wheel to wheel in the back. I do not see anyone taking the access road. That's actually Fast AD going around in the Williams. Going into Turn 1, battle for P3 between the Alfa Romeo and the McLaren driver of Luis and Bailey. They're going wheel to wheel a little bit, and Luis will get the position over Bailey's. That's a big dive, I believe. No, it's not, but Hoopalicious going up in the P9, goes in the gravel a little bit, lets the Ferrari driver and Aston Martin driver Feta cheats through. That's actually contact, and that is Hoopalicious going around in the Lesbo 1. Not what you needed to see for the driver trying to claw his way up back in But now Bailey and the people are probably weaving to say hello to Axe, probably knowing him. But now going through the scarring now, seems like everyone is that's actually Crispy going a little bit wide. Will allow Luis to get a little bit of a slipstream, but now going through Parabolica for the first time. A very climactic start. That's actually Minico letting Raptor and Shamrock through.
The Pollutions came through that without any damage. Well off the pace.
Yes, he did, and yes, he did indeed. As now we're going through the first chicane for the second time in this Grand Prix. Is actually Raptor and Shamrock were a little bit scrapped a little bit in turn one, but Raptor was able to defend himself. Raptor in this tier is known for doing the alternate strategy. So I would be the guy to look out for later on in this Grand Prix. Excuse me, my throat is killing me right now. So I apologize for very sudden pauses. But it's fine to negotiate through that. As the fan is clawing his way up through the field, actually. Now going into lap 3, our biggest winner from this Grand Prix has actually been Alfa Romeo and Aston Martin drivers of Raptor and Sherlock.
Everybody's keeping it nice and clean. Fast AD dropped in on a new wing, and now he's sitting back about 32 seconds to put the medium on. Looks very clean all the way through the back wagon. Everybody's just waiting.
Yes, it does, and now it is lap 3. The drag reduction system, DRS, is known for giving you less drag. It's literally in the name. Come on now. But actually Mumu and Deer Hunter are going at it as Mumu actually bumps Deer Hunter a little bit. That's actually Bailey looking for a move on Luis, and Mumu's looking on the move for Deer. So we're having two battles going at once. Bailey is able to get around Luis. Luis peeking a little bit, not able to get back at him. But I believe Deer Hunter was able to defend off Mumu. Yes, he was. But now, back to what I was saying, the DRS drag reduction system will give you less drag. It is in the name. There it is, bottom hand side of your screen. It will see you pop up right now, and you'll activate it. That's actually unsided port. Yes, he did actually. Does it have gravel on his tires? Yes, he does. Nonetheless, the DRS will actually help him get back up to speed and not lose that much many positions. You gain an extra 10 kilometers an hour and an extra 5 miles an hour. But now, going through Parabolica, going to start lap 4, it's actually a little DRS train starting with Chandler, and it actually ends at Sanchez, a very big DRS train between the top guys, but Chandler does not have DRS, which will not help him at all. And here comes Crispy, using the battery a little bit, and he just breezes past Chandler and will take the lead of this Grand Prix, and will be the first driver, aside from Chandler, to lead this Grand Prix.
I think Chandler just let him by because he never used his DRS at all coming down that front straight.
Yes, and actually that is Raptor going off. Not good for him if he wants to get the alternate strategy done. That actually knocks him out of the DRS train, which is not what you need, especially for how tight this field is right now. But now it is just really the waiting game for these guys on the alternate strategy, waiting for the soft runners to lose all their life on the softs, because the mediums are meant to last longer than the softs. So when the softs run out, that's when the mediums gain the advantage, and that's when the alternate strategy can go into play. But we're not worrying about that right now. We're worrying about this DRS train, and actually Port gets a 3-second time penalty, and that's a battle for P14 between Shamrock and Minico making himself a little charge back up to the front.
Coming out of Parabolica, Crispy's got the lead, but Chandler's now going to put the pressure on him. Now, he still hasn't used any battery. He's just going to use the DRS. See if it pulls him up next to him. He's down on the inside. Definitely got the pass. Nice, clean. Good job.
Yes, it is very clean between the top runners, making sure that there's no crashes. And actually, Miniko and Schumacher once again going at it. Miniko able to defend from the Aston Martin Shamrock. Seems like these two are trying to swap really and slowly catch themselves back up to this front with this big front DRS train. But if you're the top two, really, I think the top two priority is just don't do anything ambitious, don't do anything dumb, really. If you're gonna swap, then just do it. Don't use the battery wasting, because knowing that everyone else is on the DRS, no one behind you is gonna have really any sort of advantage unless you've used all of your battery.
All the front runners. Oh, and
oh, that's axe off. Oh, that's big damage.
Just have front wing damage, I guess. Take a look.
Yes, it is no front wing. I thought I saw someone go off, but I wasn't sure. But until I saw the Mercedes. Yeah, like I was saying, it looked like someone was off, but I wasn't sure. But now that is just affirmative that it was. But once again, lap 6, and Crispy is going to look for a move on Chandler. Once again, it seems like these front two are swapping. Is Luis is actually peeking, letting Bailey know, hey, I'm here, I'm quicker than you, and if you don't get out of my way, I'm going to pass you. It's just, that's really what it is, really. I really know that more because I'm a NASCAR fan, and I've seen drivers do that quite a lot. Actually, like I said, Luis is looking for a move and he backs out of it. He's actually pushing Bailey into the corner. One thing I did not notice is that Sherlock has actually gotten ahead of Miniko. Miniko is back behind Sanchez, so it seems like Miniko had a little off moment, was able to recollect it, and now he's having to repass Sanchez. And he's probably going to do it right here, not using the battery, but has the DRS, will have the overspeed to the left-hand side, and he gets to pass easily done. Looking back at this front pack, seems like ever since Luis was pushing Bailey, Bailey's gotten the move on, so definitely he has a little bit more pace in the tank. He has not shown it yet, but now once again using DRS. Actually, is Luis using battery there? I do not believe it is. No, he's not. Chandler moving in the defensive position is not close enough to make a move, and actually, yes, he is, and he hits him. A little bit of contact between Bailey and Chandler due to it. I'm not sure if they have damage. I doubt it, but still too close, but very close. As actually Drix gets around fifth fan. And I believe, yes, it was. That was Sanchez that got back around Miniko.
There was no damage if there was. They barely touched.
Yes, there was not any damage, but still is actually. Yes, that is Mumu actually off track. That's actually Finn inside of Port going off track as well. Seems like the long race is already playing a factor, and now the top four just pulled away from everybody else as Zinav gets around Feta Cheese 33. So I'm not sure if a stack-up happened, but nonetheless, the long race is coming into factor.
A lot of guys would have problems getting through Lesmo too there. Whenever there was some oil on the track. That would be an added bonus here in the game.
That'd be nice. But still, actually, Luis is coming in. He has, unless he's probably pulling the undercut. What am I saying? Fetta's in, Deer's in, so yes, they are pulling it under. See, battle for the lead between Chandler and Crispy. Crispy giving Chandler the inside. Chandler essentially just pinches Crispy off, and now that is Chandler back up to the racing lead. And Bailey, as Crispy gets a little bit squirrely, Bailey has to lift off the throttle to ensure that there's no crash between the two. So a lot of awareness going around between the top three.
There must have been a pretty good incidence between somewhere between Zinav, Drexel, Finn, Fan, and Sanchez, because they dropped way off the pace in one lap.
Yes, they have. That's what I would probably think would happen. But a lot of these soft guys actually came in this time to do an undercut. Now the question is, when three start to come in to do the sort of overcut, but on the correct lap.
Well, we'll see. coming down to Parabolica. We'll see who's going to take the dive.
If I had to take a guess, it's going to be all three of them.
Oh,
I was wrong.
only,
Two
Crispy.
of them. Close.
And Bailey.
Close. Who else is going to come in that's on the softs? That is Zinav. Let's see, Sanchez. I think that's everyone on the mediums now. No, Hoopalicious. Actually, it'd be nice if I could just do this. Yep, it's just Hoopalicious now. Hoopalicious, FinFan, and Chandler. Still on the softs. PBR, Bailey, and Crispy are now back out on the track. And now, when will the race leader, Mercedes driver, or Chandler come into the pit lane? Because if he doesn't come in the pit lane, it's going to be a matter of when he starts losing time to Crispy and Bailey, because the undercut here at Monza is heavy, very, very heavy. If you do not pit like after the next 2 laps, you start to lose a lot of time to the guys that have undercut you and have went to the mediums.
Chandler's using a lot of his battery to try to keep the gap the same. He's got to be coming in this lap though. One more and he'd come out at the best third.
He's looking like it, and he's peeling down. Yes, he is. He is in the pit lane. Now the top 3, except for Chandler, are now going through, or the provisionally top 3 except for Chandler going through Parabolica now. Chandler is already done with his pit stop and is coming out of the pit lane, so it's going to be very close between the 3. And now they're going and just hit the start finish line now, and actually I believe he's going to be sandwiched between the 2.
It looks like
he's not. He's actually
third.
behind them.
Yeah.
Yes. But visually P3, and now Crispy, AlphaTauri is your race leader. Alfa Romeo driver of Bailey that got a little bit squirrely coming on the exit of the first chicane, now going through Curve Grande now. Alfa Romeo driver Bailey in second, and the Mercedes driver Chandler in third. Something I have noticed, though, is that Crispy is pulled away from Bailey a little bit. It's not enough to keep him out of the DRS, but still is just dragging the top 3 along with his pace, really. And he's actually Bailey's 3 tenths behind now. I doubt Bailey would look for a move here, knowing for a fact that there is just a little DRS train now. It's one away now. It's essentially with the fact that naturally, with the pit stops, the DRS train, in the long run, it's just natural that the DRS train will slowly start to fade, and now the DRS train is just now the top 3. FinFan is now in, and that is all but everyone, except for Hoop, that was started on the softs or on the mediums. And actually, Bailey's looking for a move on Crispy right now. He's on the inside, and I believe Crispy just lets him have it. Yes, he does. And now Bailey is your 3rd driver that will lead this Grand Prix.
We got to give Drexel a little due.
Yes, is actually Zinav and Feta for P12 are going at it. Little battle between Hoop and Deer for P9. Hoop hasn't came in for his pit stop though. But now going through Lesbo 1 and 2 now. It seems like Crispy will get the DRS. The question is, will he look for a move? I doubt it. But something I'd like to point out is that these 3 have already caught up to the rear, almost in the DRS range of the Aston Martin and Drunken Shamrock, as actually Crispy gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, and this will definitely change the outcome of this Italian Grand Prix, as Bailey does not actually get DRS on Shamrock. Here comes Crispy, uses the battery a little bit, gets the DRS, will have the overspeed, will go on the inside, and that will just be an easy pass. Now the question is, Chandler's not close enough to even consider a move, and now that is Crispy back up into the provisional lead of this Italian Grand Prix, unless the safety car comes out. And Feta and Zenav once again going at it for P12, and Zenav just lets them through, as Hoobalicious actually got passed by both FinFan and Deer Hunter. So it seems like Deer is making a little bit charge back up to the front, and Crispy now will have the DRS of Drake and Shamrock. And my question is, will he look for a move? And he has the DRS, is using the battery, and he will easily just get around Shamrock, and Shamrock peels to the right-hand side, and he's actually in between Crispy and Bailey, which will be quite beneficial for Crispy, as Bailey's actually pushing Shamrock with Scary, and now going through Parabalka now. I believe he has the gap for DRS. Yes, he does. But now that puts Chuck and Shamrock in between Bailey and Chandler, and has definitely strung these three out a little bit.
Chandler picks up the DSR, going to go down the inside. Need a lot of time here up into the first chicane. Going to tighten these three right back up again.
Yep, that is a yellow flag for Bailey's teammate Raptor. Raptor not having a great race so far. And now that puts Crispy up in the P3, Bailey P4, and Chandler P5. And once again, a battle for P10. As actually, a VSC.
Who polished the personal safety car?
Who doesn't have a wing? What did I miss? I think I missed something.
We both did.
Yeah. Did we have a Marcus Ericsson type crash, or? I apologize for not catching that, but was too focused on the provisionally top three.
Can't be everywhere all the time.
Yep, you can't be. That's why we have a coat column, second pair of eyes.
You look that way, we got 6 pairs. I wear glasses.
I wear glasses too. Makes today. As Sanchez is in, as we are going, and Chandler is on the rear gearbox of Bailey. He's getting all the slipstream that he can. They're both using battery. Actually, never mind. Bailey is not. Bailey is not on the brakes as deep as Chandler, but still giving Chandler plenty enough of space. Chandler with the switchback. Bailey squirreling turn one. So is Chandler. Very close to contact between the two. Chandler going through Cover Grande as Bailey's using the battery a little bit himself, and now he's pulled away himself as he's pulled away from Chandler a little bit, and he's able to save himself from losing P2 provisionally to Chandler, say to 1 for the time being.
So I guess the question now is how long will Drixie stay out on these mediums? He's got 13 laps at this point.
If I had to make a guess, probably around lap 17 to 18. In between 17 to 20 is when he'll pit. Something I want to note is that Bailey's already right back up to the rear gearbox, so I believe Bailey has some pace in the tank. He's just not using it, probably saving it until the very end, but you still got to consider the fact that the AlphaTauri driver's Crispy has a 3-second time penalty. Now we're on the lap 15. Bailey with DRS will have the overspeed. Once again, chooses the right hands inside. Now going into turn 1, the chicane, and Bailey just gets ahead of Crispy. As actually Chandler is peeking a little bit for a move. He's squirreling once again as Sanchez gets around Mumu for P12 on the new softs as we're going through Curve Grande. Chandler peeking to the inside move. Will this be a Curve Grande move? And he backs out of it going into the second chicane. And now, once again, another swap for the provisional lead between the top three.
Chandler right now is showing extreme patience. He's not having to use the battery at all. He's staying right tight up against either Crispy or Bailey, whoever wants to play at the front provisionally. But I think Chandler's our man here.
We're gonna have to wait and see because it seems like all three of these guys are actually equal in pace, at least in my opinion. It's just down to whoever's in the middle between this little swap train, or monkey in the middle, we should call it.
Well,
This is just monkey in the middle.
This sandwich just might, he might go from one side of the sandwich to the other. I think with his battery, if he wanted to use it. But he backed off his battery. He's just using the DRS. Now they're side by side.
Here we go.
He's by one.
As Chandler has gotten up to P2. Bailey went from first to third. At least when it comes to this train here. Sanchez just up the Grand Prix is actually Deer Hunter, Finfan, and Feta are all having a little scrap for a battle for P7 right now. Like I said, Deer is slowly rising through the field as Luis is actually going wheel to wheel with Shamrock here as they actually make a little bit of contact. They both hit the curb. Somehow don't get sent flying. I would call them lucky. But now back up to this little train between the top three provisionally is Crispy's already almost out. I mean, Chandler is almost already out of this DRS between himself and Crispy. And now he's probably going to have to use the battery on the main straight to even get near him again. Looking through the field here, the closest battle on track is at least between these three. So you're going to have to look at this, and in case I miss something, actually, I'm going to stay on board with Feta. Is he actually going to look for a move on Finfan in the Aston Martin? Feta choosing the outside lane for Parabolica. Crispy sets the fast lap of Grand Prix for 22 flat, and Feta Cheese is able to get around Finfan, and he's actually probably going to look for a double as Shamrock is coming into the pit lane on those 15, 16 lap on mediums now. As Feta will now get DRS on Deer Hunter. Will he be using the battery to even look for a move? No, backs out of it actually. As Sanchez, once again, making a move in the Alpine on the softs. He's making himself have a little bit of pace as Minico, 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings down in P16. The driver P2 in the Drivers' Championship is not having a race, not having a good race, but gets around Jumping Shamrock, at least for now.
Back up in the front, Crispy, Chandler, Bailey. They're just kind of playing follow the leader. They're keeping them clean.
Yep, like
Crispy
how
went a little wide on the exit guard, but that's not enough to even bring a warning out, I don't believe.
Yeah. As they have already gained like at least 4 seconds on Drix. Still out, by the way, like how I predicted. He's probably, if I had to make the assumption, he's going to come in this time, I guarantee it. But Chandler has the DRS on Crispy. He's not using the battery, but he's peeking to the inside as he actually lifts off the throttle and will not look for a move. That's the yellow flag. That's Minico out. That's at Curva Grande, not Curva Grande. That is at Ascari, and that is a VSC. My question is, yep, it upgraded.
Yep, safety car.
Who's closest enough to pit? That's who I'm looking for. Unsided port, Drunken Shamrock. I don't get why he's in. Fast AD and Hoopalicious. And that is actually our first retiree of this race session, which is Minico, which is, as soon as I said it, not having a great Grand Prix, but DNF's Monza, which will not help him for the. And it actually helps that Hoopalicious is not having a good race either. But some of this benefits, at least for the drivers heavily, is 100%. Bailey is, like you said, already has a 90-point gap to Minico, but 18 points, I believe. I do not believe he has fast lap. I would have to check that.
Trixie,
I am right now.
Get some softs on that machine. See that McLaren can keep up with these guys.
Yes, as we said, provisionally there wasn't a safety car, but guess what? There's a safety car now. Drix is going to be your leader. He has struck gold, as now everyone, I would have to make the assumption, is going in the pit lane for softs. Unless Symbol.
Very much fell in his favor.
Yep, that's actually 5 seconds for Fan for speeding in the pit lane. Feta gets a 5 second for severe collision. That'd probably go get removed. Raptor actually stays out P4 when this, I swear, this man is like the Undertaker. When you think he's down and out for the count, he just always finds a way to come back. 4 lap old softs, that will not help him though, that is for sure.
Well, I think we're going to have at least 2.5, 3 laps of safety car. I think he should be all right.
Yeah, he should be fine.
Wear
But when
off.
it comes to
Definitely keep
pace
the heat
advantage, yes, but when it comes to pace advantage, he will be down a leg. But now we just wait until everyone catches back up, really. Feta's weaving when he's behind FinFan. FinFan probably having a heart attack right now. But something we have to pull up is the time penalties, if I can get it. As Hoopalicious has left the session. There you go, penalties. I'll talk about that in a minute, as I will invite Hoop back to the game.
That gives Crispy's got 3 seconds. Deer Hunter's got a 5-second penalty. Feta Cheese has got a 5-second penalty. Axe got a 3-second. Unsighted Pour 6 seconds. FinFan's got 10 seconds worth of penalties.
Yep. But Crispy, with that 3-second time penalty for track extensions, this safety car did not help him at all. As Chandler, as it stands right now, the grid will be, at least for your podium, Drix P1 in the McLaren, Chandler P2 in the Mercedes, and Bailey P3 in the Alfa Romeo. 25 points for Drix, 18 for Chandler, and 15 for Bailey, which will help his lead for the championship, and will actually extend it over 100 points, which is something very cool to do.
Yeah, you're right. I think Feta Cheese is probably just trying to make Deer Hunter nervous. And I might be working. Yeah, nobody wants to wait around with these softs. Stretch these all the way to the end.
He's left the session. Here you go, I got him. He's fine, he's fine. He's actually appearing offline. Hold on.
Okay, this will be our last lap. After this one, we'll be back to racing.
FinFan is actually in the pit lane, probably to serve his 5 second, because we actually saw that in Tier 3. It wasn't to serve a time penalty. It was Ron, I believe. Yes, it was Ron. He actually started on the medium. Safety car comes out. He has to go. Actually, he starts on softs. And the safety car comes out in a time period. Wait, no, I'm wrong. I'm getting this all wrong. He started on the mediums, and they came. And safety car came out to a point to where it was still the medium stint, which was around 10, 11, 12. He had to go on the softs for obvious reasons to avoid getting disqualified. But he goes back in the pit lane the lap after. The put on back a set of mediums. So we saw that somewhat in Tier 3. We see it again in Tier 1. It seems like these Tier 1 drivers actually learned a bit from Ron.
I thought for sure Ron last night had hards put on, so he made a mistake. He had to come back in twice to get his mediums on. But I might be mistaken.
No, actually, that's what it was. Yes, you're correct, actually. I'm still wrong nonetheless, but what on the mediums, the game put him.
All right, come on.
He started on mediums. Yes.
I made a liar on the safety car.
No, it's actually not in this lap. You can tell with how Drix is packing the back up. But something I already pointed out a second ago, Drix is actually going very early. He actually catches Crispy out big time. Same with Chandler. Doesn't catch out Bailey as much, but still slipstream is going to be a factor as it is green flag, green flag, green flag. We're back underway. I don't think there's any close battle right now. Actually, between Mumu and Axe. Mumu looking on the inside of Axe for P11. No points will be granted, but going into turn 1 at least for now. Going into turn 1, and Mumu and Axe going wheel to wheels. There's actually contact. Axe hits the curb a little bit. It's a little bit squirrely. Has to let Mumu through for P11. So the QBR boys are not having the rules for each other at all tonight.
Crispy just had the fastest second sector and run through. Just giving. Looks like everybody's holding steady.
Yes, it is. And actually, like you said, Crispy is already 3/10 behind Drix. He's probably begging for the DRS to be activated already. As Mumu is already up in the P10 after passing the AI feta cheese 33. So Mumu already up into the points. Full point to his name. Nonetheless, points are points. Axe will get ahead of Feta here in a quick second. Actually, battle for the lead between Crispy and Drix right now. Crispy coming out of Parabolica, so is Drix and everybody else right now. But going on the main straight, Drix is looking to break the slipstream. Crispy is using the ZRS, and now he'll go on the side, and now waiting into turn 1, so he will have to get the brakes, and Drix just lets Crispy through. So now Crispy is your provisional leader right now. It's actually Luis gets ahead of Raptor very deep on the brakes. It's actually Raptor and Deer Hunter going at it right now for P6. Deer Hunter with a 3-second time penalty. I would have to check if I can get it.
The 5 second.
Never mind, as they're going wheel to wheel, 5 second for Deer Hunter. Probably trying to get that removed as they're going wheel to wheel, going into a second chicane, and that's actually Deer. What a save for him. But still, nonetheless, will pull him down. Mumu in the P9, Axe in the P10. As actually, Crispy's already pulled a second gap on Drix, so Chandler and Bailey need to get around Drix quickly if they need any shot, or at least any chance to stay inside that 3-second gap before that DRS gets activated, and it'll get activated this time by actually, as Sanchez actually gets around QBR 20 Raptor. Like I said, Raptor's pace on the softs are not really that great compared to everybody else who's on a fresh set. It's now coming through Parabolica. They start lap 24 to complete lap 23. The DRS, the Dragon Usher system, will be activated right now. Crispy sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix for 20.8, as Drix is already a second behind Crispy, so he's out of the DRS. Mumu already 2 seconds behind Zinav, actually. He's going to look for a move. He's looking on the inside, very deep on the brakes compared to Zinav, and will have to stay behind Zinav, and is probably waiting for that DRS to be activated. Is Bailey, actually, I've noticed, is that he's actually stayed on the rear gearbox of Chandler, so I believe these two would have to swap if they want to stay in that 3-second gap between themselves and Crispy, but they need to get around Drix ASAP before Crispy can get out of that 3-second window, because he is already flirting with that 1-second gap. He is actually out of the DRS and will not get it. Actually, when it comes to battery, Drix is already at 20%. He's using it all as Axe gets around Mumu. maybe Mumu had a little mishap since he had the DRS, but now Axe won't get ahead of Mumu. Like I said, Fast AD gets around Hippalicious for P14 as Chandler Bailey already back up to the rear gearbox of that McLaren of Drix is actually the other McLaren of Luis is only 1.2 behind these guys, so he's probably gonna have to hope that Drix plays decoy for him to catch up to these guys. Actually, Bailey has DRS on Chandler.
Chandler's going to dive on
Drix. Drix very deep on the brakes. They're going wheel to wheel through the first chicane. Chandler very close and will get ahead, which is what he needed. But Bailey trying to look for a move from the curb. Grande basically pushing Drix. Drix using DRS, and they're actually boxing him out, going through the second chicane. Bailey backs out of it, really. Drix will have to hop the first curb, and now that will not help out Bailey whatsoever, as Chandler is actually behind Crispy by 2.4, only 6/10, and like I said, look who's already up to these three, the other McLaren of Luis, so Drix has played his decoy role perfectly, and now, as you can tell, Drix is easily letting Bailey through, so like how I called it, Drix played decoy for Luis, and I would not be surprised if he gets out of Luis's way right now.
If he's going to do it, he should do it right here in Parabolica, and I don't see it happening. He's down straight.
Yep, and there's actually 2 laps remaining in this Grand Prix. It's flown by very quickly, but Bailey will get DRS on Chandler. Chandler does not defend it at all. And now Bailey will get back around Chandler as Drix and Luis are actually going wheel to wheel through the first chicane. And they're actually staying wheel to wheel, no contact made, very clean racing between the two, and they're actually still going wheel to wheel, and Luis gets around Drix. So actually Chandler weaving out once again, but the gap is at 2.2. Still not enough for Crispy to even, it's going to be enough to allow Crispy to stay on the podium, but it won't be a P1 or P2. He will have to settle with P3. Actually, let's look at the gap for the leader. I think it would be better if we say for the gap for the leader. At least for right now. Yellow flag, that is Finn Fan. He is out of the Grand Prix. Actually, can't look at it. But the gap still growing between Crispy and Chandler. No, that is actually not a Scary. That is going, that actually looks like he hit the curb. The second chicane. The gap at 2.7 between Crispy and Chandler. He's going to have to settle P3 still, as actually Chandler will get DRS on Bailey. And now we're on the final lap of this Grand Prix between Crispy, Bailey, and Chandler. Chandler will have DRS, actually. He's using the battery, but Bailey is not, and Chandler will easily get ahead of Bailey. At least for right now, the gap is at 2.2 between Chandler and Crispy, but the gap between Bailey and Crispy is at 2.5. So it does seem like, unless there is a mistake made, it looks like Crispy will have to settle with P3, but he may not even get P3 at this point. Luis in the McLaren at 3.1. He's gonna get dirty air through the second sector. Excuse me, the second sector. So he's gonna start drifting off. Same with Bailey. He's gonna start drifting because of that dirty air, and the gap staying at 2.2 between himself and Chandler. And here we go, DRS. This is last hurrah. If he wants this Grand Prix victory, he's using all the battery. He does not look for a move going through his Scar. He's going to have to get an exit of his life if he wants the chance at Chandler, but does not get the exit. It was staying at, actually gets another 2-second time penalty. But now as we go up to the front, outside port, his spun in the Scar, but Crispy, like in real life last year with Pierre Gasly, AlphaTauri will win at Monza. Crispy here, it'll be in the virtual world, but he will win on track. But Chandler will take the Grand Prix victory. Bailey P2, and Crispy will have to settle for P3. Very close between himself and Luis. Wow, what a ending to this Grand Prix. A very calm Grand Prix, especially for Monza standards. Actually, something we did not notice is that Mumu and Zenav had a side-by-side finish for P6, and Mumu and AlphaTauri got it. So a very good points haul for AlphaTauri today.
And a retiree. I don't know why I'm car right now. Anyway, Grand Prix is over. If it wasn't for that safety car, I think we would have had Crispy, Bailey, and Chandler, but Dixie just threw that threw a monkey in that wrench.
Yeah, still. Crispy will get 16 points with the fastest lap of 20.8. Nonetheless, he tried his hardest. Round of applause for all these drivers for having such a calm but exciting race.
Very clean, very clean.
All-American podium. Whoa.
Crispy gets the fastest lap.
Hello. Why did you invite me to play F1? Come on, man.
My bad.
I don't get why, as a spectator, that it just will not kick you out after the Grand Prix is over. So I'm like sitting here.
Are you gonna do that, like, where you restart the game?
No, probably not, because I saw last night that it did not even capture the interview. So that's nice.
Did anybody
Actually, there we
in
go.
Twitch chat say that the stream was good and the sound was fine?
I hope it was.
Well,
That'll
I
be different
wasn't
from last
messaging
night.
anything. I wasn't messaging anything, so it must have went smoothly.
That's great.
I didn't hear people complain about it.
Good job tonight, Bailey. Great excellent commentating, Zach. Good job all around.
Yes. There we go. It has kicked me out. Thankfully, I don't have to reset my game. Whoa.
Where is
As actually, Crispy does not have a mic, so
Oh, man.
that is unfortunate. So we're gonna have to stick with these two. So P2 and P1. Just have to wait to get in the showroom because this game's slow. There we go. Crispy, why don't you, not Crispy, wow, Quick Tongue, why don't you start us off with our P2 finisher, which is QBR20 Bailey?
Oh, I will do that. Bailey, congratulations. Great race.
Thank you.
Strategies seem to be pretty tight. How did you feel about it?
I enjoyed that race. You know, I was fairly consistent, especially since I turned offline a couple of months ago. I'm glad I kept up with Chandler and Crispy. I didn't really expect that to happen. The strategy was simple, you know, soft medium. I kind of got nervous when that safety car came out because I thought that would screw me over. Luckily, everyone behind us pitted, well, except for Drex. But yeah, that race was, and then we went to that final stint. I was following Chandler through. We passed Drex, and we finished an All-American 1-2-3 again. So yeah, I'm happy with that.
Good to see that waving on the
Yeah.
podium today.
Yeah.
Yes. The American pride of doing everything different when it comes to math and all that. Whoa. But I don't have anything. Chris Tongue asked all the questions that I had. Congratulations on your P2. It just congratulations all around.
Thank you.
Actually, he did not ask a question I had. But with Minico and Hoopalicious not having the greatest of days, now you extend your point gap to over 100, I believe. Just how do you feel knowing that you have such a big championship lead and you're still extending it, knowing that how the season has went by?
I'm so glad that I'm able to extend it after turning offline. I thought I was going to be horrific for the final part of the season. But no, I was able to get up the pace and still keep up and fight for the championship. So yeah, I'm happy with it.
Yes, congratulations on your P2. as now we go on to our race winner, at least on time. But Chandler, if you're here, make sure that your audio is clicked in. I forgot to say that. But if you're here, Chandler, just give us your thoughts too, really, with that race, especially knowing that with that top 3 little DRS chain and having to get through that little McLaren of Drix.
Yeah, so going into it, pace was nowhere. I had just gotten home. I dropped my girlfriend off at her house, came home, and it's 9:15, and I need to practice. I haven't touched the track yet today. So I wasn't expecting anywhere near that 18.9 I did in GP mode yesterday morning, but I was hoping for a little bit more pace in qualifying. Now in the end it didn't matter, so I did get pulled, but that doesn't matter. You just need to be in the top 3, really. And so that was my aim through the first part, and then after the safety car, and through all of it. It was just make sure I'm in the top 3, because I can work with the top 3. If you drop into 4th in the train, then that's a bit not good. But it was a big train until I wasn't expecting Chris to break as early as he was, because you don't want to break as early as he did on lap 7. And so I just like avoid him, and we just barely touched. It's not penalizable, but it set off a chain reaction, so multiple people got damaged. So that split us up for a good bit of that race. But it was fun. Just played as good as I could, and in the end I ended up winning with that penalty of Crispy. I wasn't too worried about him running away because I knew he had that penalty. But yeah.
Oh, I got a question for you.
Do you have a question?
After the 50% point of the race, you were managing your battery just perfectly. Unfortunately, the safety car, split you guys up a little bit with tricks, but that was just magnificent. You were constantly keeping your battery high. The pace was just rock on, just staying in there with the DRS. Did you feel like you needed to use it, or is that your normal modus operandi, so to speak?
Yeah, it really just depends, but here at Monza, it's just making sure the car behind it can't get close enough. Otherwise, you just want to have DRS to just need it if the car behind attacks, and so you don't have to overtake the car in front. You really don't need to be leading until the last lap, and so that's why when Bailey overtook me going in lap 6, I wasn't worried about it, because it's so easy to keep with. And so yeah, it's just keep it topped up. You don't really need to use it. It's so easy to keep in within DRS with DRS, and I'm kind of just running out of words here, but you get the idea.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You did a tremendous job. It was a masterful piece of driving. It was fun to watch. It was a great race. We enjoyed it. You got anything else?
Yeah. No, I did not. Congratulations, Chandler, on your race win. This will conclude the Breakout Racing League here racing at Monza. Tomorrow we will have ACC. I'm not sure at what the track they're going to be at, but it's going to be live, I believe, 8 p.m. EST for ACC Tier 1. On Monday, we will have ACC Tier 2 going live at the same time, I believe. That's what I heard. But on Wednesday, we will have F2 at Russia, which will start our Russia weekend for the Breakout Racing League, and we will see you then.